Big sad.
Okay, sorry about that, everybody. Thank you, Carl. Uh, all I said was I'm Dan Tartaglione, also known as Dietar Tag One. It's Holotheatre. It's a new night, new hour, and then joining me tonight is the red-armed bandit himself, Taco Bill.
Look, they're both white. That's fine.
Well,
I had to stop wearing the shirt because the joke got too played out.
does a joke in this community ever get too played out?
Yes, very much so.
I mean, if I really need to, I can always ask. Let's see, Joe Olson, Justin Desai.
I mean, I'm actually going to retire 4 times on this broadcast, so
Don't worry, the jokes won't get tired tonight because I got some new material. As definitely, so those who don't know, Holotheatre is now officially on Tuesday nights instead of Wednesday. I know it's a little bit different. We've been on Wednesday for as long as I can remember and everything, and we're at 8 p.m. Eastern instead of 9 p.m. Eastern. Mostly because I was a wuss and decided, I wanted to get some sleep, but now with my
I mean,
busy work schedule, who knows?
yeah, Tuesday at 8 is actually a great time for me, so maybe you'll see a bit more Taco Bill.
Maybe you'll become an official co-host.
We'll see about that. I can get my own card finally.
You would get your own card. You could join the greats like Justin Desai and Chris Kelly has two.
Look, as long as Brian Fred is running around chasing foil Taco Bills, I'm here for it.
What would you make as your card?
It's got to be Lord Sidious, right?
That's a good one.
Or maybe if we come out with a new 3PO, I think that could be pretty good too.
There you go.
I'll wear the shirt for that one.
Uh, Dengar.
Dengar, no, get out. Nobody plays that card. No, Dengar's not mine. Dengar is Andrew Moss's card.
Oh well, then we got to do the punishing one.
Punishing one.
Taco Bill and punishing one.
Taco Bill in punishing one.
So, but I mean, you could always do Black Three.
A lot of starships, huh?
A lot of
Just
starships.
just pretend you see me piloting it. That's fine. I'm fine with that.
Well, you're in the Air Force. It makes sense.
Yeah.
So we have Bill on tonight to talk about a few things, namely the up and coming. Well, it's actually started recently. The championships leagues, and then I think a little something called the OCS playoffs.
Yeah. I'm okay.
Playoffs.
I'm doing that.
You're you're doing that. Like a lot of people had doubted you. Like out of the 38 people, only 2 people picked you out of the first round.
Yeah, that's reasonable. I would have picked not me also. So
I mean, that's saying something. But let's go ahead and oh no, the only correct answer for a Bill Kafer card is Lieutenant Tarn Mason.
Tarn Bison, yeah.
But let's go ahead and get in started with the championship league. Let's talk about that for a little while, and then we'll get into the Bill and his OCS run. So, for those who don't know, the championship league, this is the first year of the first iteration of it, and why don't you tell us a little bit of background behind it, Bill? Like where you guys got the idea. Is this something that you came up with? I know Jared. Has his hand in almost everything. Like the guy is so busy, he needs to calm down. But
No, he doesn't. He's
what's
doing
going
great
on
work.
with the championship league?
So yeah, this goes back to an idea that I actually had last year. Really, I like to come up with kind of alternate formats, right? Because I like to come up with things that I want to play in, right? So that's, 20 years ago, that's where the MPC started from, is because I decided I wanted to play in match play, and I wasn't good enough to play in match play. So we worked together to create an event where everybody could play match play, right? So that means I got to play match play. And so with the Champions League, this was a thing where last year we had the leagues online. It was the first big year for leagues in a couple years. And I thought it would be really neat. Like, what if we got all the winners together to do like a winners league, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I watch a decent amount of soccer, not as much as I, have access to as an American, um, but they have the Champions League over in Europe, where the English league, the Italian league, the Spanish league, the German league, like the top 3 or 4 teams or whatever, all go into this Champions League, and
Mm-hmm.
they play against each other until there's one champion of Europe. And so this year, with no Outrider Cup, right, and no Jawa Cup filling these last couple months, I thought it'd be cool to do some kind of invitational, and it's actually going to run concurrently with the World Cup, which is pretty cool. So it kind of morphed into a blend between the Champions League, the World Cup, and it looks pretty cool.
So
I'm
when you
a
guys
little
like were
disappointed
doing
that
the
I'm not in it
schedule,
myself.
oops, sorry, go ahead.
I said I'm a little disappointed that I didn't make it myself.
So I was going to say, like, when you guys were coming up with the schedule and everything, was the idea to be going on the same time with the World Cup?
No, it actually worked out pretty well. It wasn't something that I thought about, honestly, because the World Cups normally runs throughout the summer. But because they're having it in Qatar this year, it's a little hot there in the summer, so they moved it to November. It just happened to work out that I'm gonna draw pools of people or pods of people on like the day the US plays their first game. So
And so let's go ahead and talk about the participants in this event. So right now we have the list of the invitees up on the screen right now. So you can see that there's the 2021 and the 2022 league champions. So
yeah, we had one repeat winner of leagues. That was the Yavin 4 League. Brad Kipple won it both years. So we thought it was best to take the second person, the person who finished second in that league. That's John. And then because we had, I think it was 21 champions it worked out to, and we wanted to fill 24 spots to make those pods.
mm-hmm.
We decided to have some playing games. So those are, second place from some of the more competitive leagues, some of the leagues that have history, some of the more active leagues, and then yeah, they're going to play the one game play-in. They're playing this week. I know Chris Kelly and David Woods already played. I know Chris Kelly moved on in that game. We're going to see Nate is playing. Is he playing Werfs? I think he's playing Chris Werfs
Mm-hmm.
at some point this week, and Eric is going to be playing Carl at some point this week.
Wow, and like you were saying, those are people who play second in this year's league, correct?
Yeah, so we decided to go with this year's league because we didn't announce the Champions League prior to last year's league, right? So it felt weird to say, okay, you finished second in last year's league, well, we're going to take you to this tournament.
Okay.
But we figured if we announced it this year and said, hey, if you want to qualify, do well in your league this year.
So, and then like, how are you guys? You said you have the 6 people in the playing games, and you already said that Chris Kelly beat David Woods. Was that a full match? Was that like, how did you guys determine those?
Because we were kind of so part of it is a little bit of post Worlds hangover. Part of it's a little bit that I didn't expect to still be playing cards, and part of it is I've been incredibly busy. But we kind of brought this together a little bit last minute, a little bit more last minute than I wanted to. So I thought, giving people a week to play one game early and then letting them know in advance, hey,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to have 6 weeks to play these next couple games was going to work out best. So I also thought that so the Champions League, the soccer version, has a knockout stage, and I thought that was just one game, but I've been informed since that it is actually a home and home, so the analog would have been a full match, which is unfortunate. But we're trying it this year, and I mean we're all about trying new things, right? So like that's how this league came about anyway. So we might as well try it this year. If it doesn't work out, we can change it in 2 years.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so and for those like you said, we have the list of people who are participating. Chris Kelly advanced already. So David Woods unfortunately goes home back to Virginia.
Actually, yeah, before. Yeah.
Nate Ladderback versus Chris Werfs, and then Carl's going to play Eric. So once those guys are in, how are you going to set up the pods for this event?
So I haven't really sat down and thought about like the major logistics of what I'm going to do, but I'm going to host a show next Monday where I'm going to draw pools live.
Okay.
I'm going to try to do it kind of analogous to the Champions League, and so what that means is for the Champions League for soccer, they'll take maybe 3 or 4 teams from England and they'll put each of those teams in a different group. And so to kind of mirror that, what I want to do is make sure that anybody from the same region goes into a different group. And so I'm going to start by drawing this year's winners. We're going to put them into a group, right? So like I'll draw the first person, say as you go into pod A. Person number 2 will be Greg. Greg goes into pod B.
Okay.
And then we'll try to draw. We'll just keep drawing like that until we get to 24 people. So you could end up with like they talk about in the World Cup, the group of death. You could end up with a ridiculous group.
So yeah, you're talking about me being in this. Like, I don't want to be in the group of death. I don't want to be like. I was looking at like this list of players, and there's a lot of accomplished players in this. I mean, you have the Sheriff Batmouse, who won the All Around League back in 2021. Sam Tashima, who's
Yeah,
a new ally. He's no
play-in game
slouch.
this year at Worlds.
Huh?
Had a play-in game this year at
Yeah, he had
Worlds.
the playing
Into
game.
top eight.
David Center, not really familiar on David. He's from Karelia, apparently, but
Yeah, mostly an online player, but
yeah.
won the league last year.
Jared Konsker won the league last year. Paul McPherson won the Naboo League. Again, both of those players, no slouches. Al Fuentes won the North Cal League. I don't think they did a league this year, so
They did one, but they didn't finish their events in time, so they did not qualify for a spot.
that's Kuhn out in the Ryloth League. So that Kuhn's Kuhn's dangerous.
Yeah,
And
also a new ally.
Brad, I mean, he's in the OCS. So what can you say about Brad at this point?
Yeah. Brad just wins every event, I feel like, so
Yeah,
that's gonna be tough.
and then he came in second for the Jawa event this year.
Yeah. He also placed really high in when he made the OCS. You already said that.
Yep. And then looking at this year's winners, it's just like a gauntlet. You have
Yeah.
Stubley, Connor Britton. Whoever has to play him, get ready for either Rescue the Princess or No Idea, and Walkers. Charlie Arlinson, probably one of the top 3 players out there in the new ally land.
Yeah, I'd say that.
Some
Some guy named Dan.
some jerk. Greg Shaw, top 8 at Worlds, top 8 in the OCS. Joe Olson, top 8 in the OCS, top
Top
4
8
at
at
Worlds.
Worlds.
Eric Hunter hasn't really played this year outside of in these leagues, but he's still a really good player. Kevin
He
Yop,
finished, he finished second at the NPC this year too.
true. Kevin Yop, who does all the artwork and the foils and everything. Some guy named Brian Fred.
Yeah,
Who's that?
probably the best new allies player.
I don't know. I'd say Greg.
Well, we're gonna have a new allies invitational at some point too. We're
I wanna
gonna
stream
fight it
that.
out.
I want to stream that. Actually, no. I'd say Drew is up there too, just because Drew, I think, has won trophies for you guys.
Yeah, I mean,
Matt
got
Harrison,
trophies.
trainer, OCS, and second at Worlds. Justin Caruli, Stephen DeVos, Justin Miyashiro, John McFarland, and then like we said, we even talked about the playing people. It's a gauntlet out of 24 people. This is not going to be an easy pick.
Well, they don't call it like the mid-range player league; it's the Champions League. So
Yeah, how did I get a part of this?
listen. I will not know the answer to that question.
Neither do I.
Yeah,
I feel like Carl should definitely be in it.
Carl's got to get past Eric, and Eric is a very good player.
He's okay. I mean, he's in the OCS.
Yeah, OCS top 16.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you said next Monday you're going to be hosting a show. Is it going to be on the PC channel or your own channel?
I'll probably do it on my own channel. I'm not super comfortable streaming to the PC, but it should auto host. So as long as you watch the PC channel, you should be able to see me there doing the draw.
And what time are you going to be doing this draw at?
That is to be determined. I would guess sometime Eastern time, evening, 6 p.m., 7 p.m., something like that.
Okay.
I have to get home and I can't watch the USA versus Wales game live, so I have to wait until that's done and then go home and then watch it and then do the pods. And hopefully not be too mad at Kevin Young.
Why?
Because USA is playing Wales next week.
Hey, Kevin. I mean, first of all, how can anybody be mad at Kevin for anything at this point?
That's fair.
Second of all, from what the commercial's saying, the Team USA is going to win the World Cup.
Yeah. Easy.
Yeah.
I should have worn my jersey. I'll wear it next week. So.
Yeah. So after you draw pawns, the players are going to have how long to actually play in the games? Like, is it going to be, they're going to play a full match, or
Yeah, so
how are things going to happen?
It's going to be roughly a month to get 6 games done. What I've told the players is you don't necessarily have to play at a certain time or, play both games against one player at the same time. Just whatever works for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you can get your 6 games in, that's the biggest part because these are going to be based on diff. And so if you don't play all 6 games, that kind of throws everything off for everybody else, especially for tie breaks. So yeah, just whenever you guys get a chance to play, just play. Um, you could play all your games in the first week. You could play all your games in the last week as long as you get them done. I don't care.
Okay. And I know the stream team, based on these pod games, we're not going to it's going to be a little difficult because of that flexibility with the schedule and getting everybody streamed. We will try and stream games if players advance, if they notify us in enough advance and everything. So as long as if we have the advance warning to stream games, we'll gladly stream the games. So, but
Yeah,
most of the games are going to have, they're all going to be open viewership and everything, at least until the top 8 or the quarterfinals or whatever you guys have going on with that. So
yeah. What I said to the playing game people is, it's totally optional if you want to let somebody in the stream team know or let me know, and I can tell the stream team when you're going to play games. I'm happy to stream, or we can try to find somebody to stream. Or if you want to send replays when you're done, I'm happy to do, game reviews. Or I know Joe Olson has talked about doing game reviews and stuff also. So something like that could be done. But
just I was
completely
gonna say,
optional.
give Joe, like, you're gonna give Joe, like, Joe take game reviews when he's playing in this.
I mean, you're able to change decks every
Okay.
game. So you could play 6 different decks. That's why we decided to go with the open, spectators,
Mm-hmm.
which isn't something we normally do for something like this. And then yeah, like Jared says in chat, nobody concede ever. Don't concede. Just keep playing it out.
Never give up. Never surrender.
Yeah.
So, and then once you get to the quarterfinals, that's going to be a 1 game playoff.
Yep. So similar to the playing games, it's the same thing.
Wow.
We're going to be pressed up against the holidays at that point. So
Okay, that's
seeding
fair.
is very important when you get to that point. So that's why every game matters. Don't concede ever. Um, so the higher seed's going to pick. So whoever has the best record out of the 6 winners will be the first seed. So say somebody goes 6-0 plus 120, right? They'll probably be number one.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever wins the group but has the lowest diff will be number 6. And then the 2 second place finishers with the best records and diff as a tiebreaker will make the 7th and 8th place. And then it's a 1 game playoff for the quarters and the semis.
Okay. And here's a random question. Like, and I noticed that deck lists are required for this. When will they be due by?
The before you play. And so these are
Okay.
not necessarily to see that you are, trying to game any system or anything like that. This is mostly for posterity. We just want to we know we're going to be in a new meta when that top 8 goes off. So having some lists for people right away is pretty good for the community. And we thought this was a good way to do it.
I know, because like right around the corner after this is the San Diego Open. I want to say the San Diego Grand Prix, just because we're so used to that and everything. But it's just the San Diego Open.
We can have more than one Grand Prix.
We
It's fine.
could.
Formula One does that.
Yeah, I agree. And then, like you said, the finals are between the 8th and the 15th. Those are a one. It's a one match. So the finals will be played in both light side and dark side for both players.
Yeah, and that one it's very important to get both deck lists in advance, just because you're not gonna be able to change once you play the first game.
So between the top 8 and the top 4 and the finals, you can change.
Yeah, so you can play whatever you want in the quarters. You can play something different in the semis, and you can play something different in the finals as long as you send deck lists before you play.
Awesome. It's great to hear. Okay, so I know we talked about the championship league. I know I'm excited to watch this. It's going to be great. Besides playing in it, like, yeah, and I'm not worried. I'm not so worried about playing in it. Like, I'm still in kind of like I'm not in like I'm surprised that I got to it. Like, but
Yeah, your league was very competitive. It was won by tiebreakers, right?
3 of us in the
Yeah.
top spot. Funny little note though. Brad and Carl played in 5 events. I played in 3.
Yeah, I know that.
So,
You did well.
so, but let's talk about something that's really going on right now that somebody's playing really well in, and that somebody is yourself. Let's talk about the OCS playoffs. So, going in, so the Friday before Worlds, we Chris Schoenthal did his little show on the OCS playoff draft. Justin Desai went first. He picked Eric Spixma. Please tell me I said that right.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, so he picked him. and right after Justin was Matt Harrison Trainer. Matt Harrison Trainer decided, you know what, I'm going to go with Taco Bill. When he
Yeah,
said that, how did you feel?
I I'm surprised that wasn't the first pick, honestly. Um, I played really well at the beginning of the year, and then I played really poorly at the middle of the year.
Okay.
I think of the people that played all of their games in the OCS and qualified, I was the lowest. Um,
Okay.
I think what Matt said on the show was something to the effect of Bill plays, like a solid, straightforward deck, and like that makes sense for someone to go up against, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I were in his shoes, I would have picked me too.
So when you heard that, like, what was your thought process about, like, I'm assuming that you and your team of 9 million allies decided to sit down, get together, and formulate a game plan. What was the game plan that you guys came up with to face against Matt Harrison Trainer?
It was really just play solid decks. Be ready to play against. Coming off of Worlds, he had played Rops and the Yoda communing, I think. At
Yes.
Worlds, he finished second with them.
No,
Uh,
he played. I know he played the. No, he played. No idea.
I think he played No Idea in the top eight, and he played Yoda in the Swiss portion. I don't quite remember. I'm gonna look it up while we talk.
I
But
was gonna say, I'll look it up. You talk.
yeah, so like biggest thing for me was trying to get ready for Rops.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why like I ended up going with the Legend that was tilted pretty heavily towards playing Rops. It had an X-wing cannon. It had double projection type things in there, right? So like
Mm-hmm.
it was built for Rops, and then really just trying to figure out like a solid dark side deck. The week before I thought Hunt Down V was one of the better choices, and so I said, why don't I just stick with that? And if we go up against mains, we'll just like smash together for a while, and it'll be fun.
He played no idea both day one and day two.
Okay, yeah, and so we with the Hunt Down V, I had a pretty solid game plan with Hunt Down V versus both No Idea and Old Allies, which I know he could play too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I like that matchup, or I like those matchups. But yeah, then he played Yoda commuting, and we smashed together for a while.
And what did you played Hunt Down V?
Yeah,
I don't remember.
so
Yeah, I don't remember the first game because I never remember. Well, I remember the very first game that you and him played because you ended up winning that one by 14 ish.
yeah, it was 13, I think.
Okay.
And I left some diff on the table. I know I watched the replay that you guys did, and Garrett was talking about some play that I made, and so I know I left a few on the
Yeah.
table. So I got incredibly lucky in game two that I was able to find a way to lose by more than winning, as Charlie so eloquently said on his channel.
That's fair. And then in the top eight, you had to face down a two-time world champion, Joe Olson.
Yeah, never
How,
gets any
how,
easier.
huh?
Huh? Yeah, so those two especially, of the top eights I've made in the past, year and a half or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I've either been knocked out by Joe or Matt in all of them. So that was kind of fun to have that come up again. Um, but yes, same basic game plan, right? So like it was weird with Joe because Joe played against Baroni in round one, and I
Yeah,
streamed that game and it lasted all of 25 minutes.
if
Um,
that.
and so I didn't get to see like what Joe was going to choose.
Mm-hmm.
I did say one thing on stream that I don't know if Joe paid attention to or not or whatever, but I basically said on stream, I am not an old allies player. And so
True.
once I said that, Joe had said like, "Oh, I don't normally watch my own stream, but I watched that because it was 20 minutes cool." And I started thinking, I was like, "Well, all right. If I said I'm not an old allies player, what does he play? Like, if he knows I'm not going to play old allies." So I don't know if that factored into his decision or not to play Black Sun, but it was funny when he flipped over Black Sun because if somebody told me they were not an old allies player, I would play Black Sun.
That's fair. And we know that Joe loves his Black Sun. I believe he won it used it to win the 2021 Worlds.
Yeah, I mean
So
it's a good deck.
it's still a good deck. You just have to watch out for the bug.
Yeah.
So you put him. So Black Sun, and you played what for light side?
So I played the Yoda commuting. Um,
Okay.
I threw in the much maligned choices of the triple levitation. Um,
That's
that I
right.
got a lot of slack for. Uh,
Yeah. What made you pick the levitation like times three?
well, so I don't know, a week and a half before Worlds, I was like, we could just play 3 levitations, right? You can take out the 2 3PO pullers, you could take out something else, you can play 3 levitations, and you don't lose too much, and you gain a lot against a lot of these decks that are running Silence is Golden. At some point, we
Mhm.
talked about putting a stone pile in the deck too. That was a little too much. Um, but I played it on not day two on in the consolation event. I played triple levitation also,
Okay.
and I actually matched up against I'm going to call him AJ every time, Logan, um, in the first game and first action. I canceled his Silence is Golden, which was really funny.
Wow.
He was not happy.
I don't blame him. Do not blame him at all. And I noticed the other thing, if I remember correctly, about the same matchup, the Agents of Black Sun versus your Yoda community, you ran 3 different copies of Luke.
Yeah, I think I did that at Worlds too. I think I ran the same 3 spread. So prior to day one of Worlds, um, I didn't know what I was going to play. I think I came in expecting to play no idea, but
Yeah.
I just took the Yoda Muning and played it in a lot of the testing games that we did, and like especially against Sam. Sam like threw Hunt Down V at it like 14 times. I feel like, um, and so like I played a couple different people's versions of it. And so some people were running the Master Luke, some people were running the Rebellion's Hero Luke, some people were running the Retrieval Luke, and I was like, well, I like all of these.
Why not
So
all
when I
three?
built mine the night before, I was just like, I'm gonna run one of each.
That was interesting. I mean, and I don't think Joe was prepared for all different each of them, because I remember you came down with uh, the Master Luke at the end game, and you were able to just keep Luke there on the table, him flipped. So, and then
Yeah.
for light side, well, for your dark side, you ran TTO. That was an interesting decision. What made you go with the TTO?
Um, I don't know. I like TTO going in a lot. Going into Worlds, I liked it a lot. I think me and Greg both agreed, and then he went back on it, of course. But if we made day two, we were going to play TTO. Um, we like the version we've been working on has way higher destiny than a lot of these versions that I've seen before.
Mm-hmm.
You saw like in those battles, like it was just 5 5 5 5, right?
There's a lot of fives, at least
Um,
five fives.
and this is a version that I had been working on going back a couple months, maybe even like a year, right? Where it's all starfighters. You don't have to worry about landing claw or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think I sent it to Matt Carulli at some point to play in one of your locals too.
He played it. You should.
Yeah,
You should. Next time, share it with me first.
it just had so many sixes. At some point, there was a counter assault in it, and like it's a really fun deck to play. And
I
so
think there was a counter assault in the match. Like you ended up losing it to a drain or something.
that was surprise assault in the light deck.
Okay.
Yeah, you
You're
gotta get
just
those
full of
straight down.
surprises tonight.
One's light side, one's dark side. Um, but I forget my train of thought now. Oh, and like I thought it was a weird like zag to do because Joe had just played Baroni and Baroni played TTO, and Joe had just played the old allies. So I thought,
Mm-hmm.
what if I just do that again? It would be funny.
And
I actually think I was set on playing CCT until that morning when uh I think it was Drew reminded me. He was just like, "No, what are you doing? Like you lose that CCT loses to their Tatooine version of the Yoda
no, it
100% of
doesn't.
the time." So that was a good catch by him.
I was gonna say I played that Tatooine Yoda commuting deck when against Jeff Levine, and Jeff didn't have like I was just able to beat Jeff.
Yeah.
And but yeah, it's an interesting. Yeah, I think that was the better move for you was playing the TTO. Batmouse has said it multiple times recently. If you can avoid the ground against Light Sun right now, you should do it.
Yeah, seems reasonable.
So you made the top four, and your prize for playing and advancing to the top four now is to play against Bastion Winklehouse. What's your
Yeah.
game plan?
Listen, do I need a game plan at this point? The way I'm playing? No, I'm just kidding. Um, my game plan is to try to not make as many mistakes as I've been making in these games, because I've definitely seen paths to losing and got very fortunate that my opponent has either not seen them or just couldn't make it happen.
Okay.
And to just, play my best game. I shouldn't be here, so there's no pressure on me, right?
No, all the pressure's on Bastion at this point.
Yeah.
And you can quote me. Say if anybody wants to quote me in Slack or if Bastion is going to watch this at some point before you guys play, all the pressure's on Bastion. Now, at this point, I mean, I picked Bastion to win the thing, so
Yeah,
obviously, and people know what happened when I pick people.
you got the Dan kiss of death.
Yeah, that's why my team name is the Kiss of Death. So, but no, I'm enjoying your run. It's really good, and you're having a really good year. I think you made top 8 at the Indoor Grand Prix.
Yep.
You didn't go to Minnesota.
No.
Nash, and then in Worlds you came in the top 15.
Top 13. Top 13.
That's pretty good. And I think you were 3 spots from a playing game.
Yeah, no, I mean I was 5-3, but I don't think I was ever in contention for a playing game.
Mm-hmm. Then I think you did pretty well in the consolation too.
Yeah, I finished 4-2. If I had won my last game, I would have finished second, but I didn't. It's been not bad. I can't complain.
Nah, you're having a good year, and it's like I said. I mean, I'm enjoying your run. If you haven't watched the streams between me and Garrett, I'm having a blast.
Yeah, it's been cool. A couple people have reached out and just said like, "Great job playing," and we're rooting for you to win the thing. So that's pretty cool to see.
Well, why didn't they pick you?
Yeah, well, they went with their brain instead of their heart.
Yeah, that's fair. But speaking of the OCS playoffs, really quick, let's go ahead and check up on them. Again, our top 4 is Justin Desai versus Gavin Ortland, and then Bill Caver versus Bastion Winklehouse. You and Bastion will be playing this Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern.
Yeah, roughly 9.
And that's going to be covered on the Justin Miyashiro channel for Twitch, as I believe the Justin Desai versus Gavin game is going to be going on about the same time. That will be covered by myself and Garrett on the PC channel. Unless, of course, I can convince Justin to switch and I cover your game, because every time I cover your game, you win.
That's true. I don't know. Maybe I should lobby for that.
I think you should. And then if you're following along with the Championship League, that again it has started. Chris Kelly advanced over David Woods, and we have 2 other playing games until the actual thing gets started. Chris Worth versus Nate Lauterbach, and Crazy Carl, our guest from last week, against Eric Spixma.
Yeah, they're playing at some point this week is the deadline, so they got to be played their game by the 20th, so I can draw pods on the 21st.
So get those game in, gentlemen. Carl, get those game in. I don't care what time it is right now. You should be playing against Eric.
It's probably the middle of the night for Eric.
Yeah, and then okay, so Carl is saying that Worse and Nate are playing this Thursday. Eric and Carl are going to be playing Saturday.
Nice.
The San Diego Grand Prix / Open is scheduled for January 20th through the 22nd. It's going to be a fun time. Chris is working his butt off behind the scenes to get this thing organized. Same with Batmouse, so make sure you guys give a big thank you to all of them, as well as everybody else who's going. There should be a COVID policy announcement here today. Haven't seen one yet, but we'll see what happens.
We should bump Chris on that.
Yeah. And then the hotel, if you're looking for the hotel information, it is out there. The booking deadline for the PC rate is December 23rd, 2 days before Christmas Day, day before Christmas Eve. So make sure you guys get on that. And then speaking of Christmas, Jared, the PC Santa, has let the doors open on the 2023 PC donation program. So if you're interested in getting some of those nice shiny deck boxes, make sure you guys donate. Not only can you get the deck boxes, but cool other stuff like the spatula, foils. The foils donation slip is the I Must Be Allowed to Speak and Bow to the First Order horizontal AIs. Those I haven't seen them yet, but I can tell they're going to be pretty awesome. If you haven't seen them, and then you can get like other stuff such as 52 playing cards, logo keychain, and I don't know what's going on with this spatula stuff, Bill. Maybe you can explain it to me.
Listen, I'm just as confused as you are because people went nuts when they found out there was a spatula involved, which makes no sense to me. It's just a spatula. You're gonna get it dirty. You're gonna get food on it. I want things I can put on my shelf. Like I got sweet golf balls that I'm probably never gonna hit until next year's Worlds. And I got sweet poker chips that like I can play with all the time. I don't know what I'm gonna do with a spatula.
Hang it up. Get some like 3M hooks. Hang it up like a lightsaber.
Maybe just, it'll make a nice spot by the big uncut sheet up there.
Yes, what you said. And apparently Jared is saying that the foils are in the thread. Oh my gosh, those things actually do look amazing. So here is the Bow to the First Order horizontal card. That looks cool.
That's really good.
That's
gonna
really
be foil.
good.
That's
and then
cool.
the I must be allowed to speak. Okay.
That's also pretty cool.
That's really cool. Now that Bow to the First Order, that is definitely amazing.
I have a bone to pick with that. I must be allowed to speak because by the time Luke got there,
He didn't
his
have his
lightsaber
lightsaber.
it was not green. Also, was it?
No, it was green.
It was
when
green?
he got to Jabba's, like
Okay.
it was green, but he never had his lightsaber.
Yeah, R2 had it.
Yeah,
What is
R2
this?
had
Come
it.
on, come on.
Come on. It looks cool though.
Great pick.
I mean, I want one, but but hey, you know what? I'm gonna say this: if there's one thing Star Wars players love to do, well, if there's three things Star Wars players love to do, play their lying detection games like Secret something, or
You could say Secret Hitler. Hitler's
Secret
a person.
Hitler,
Secret Hitler.
or what, Skull and Roses, or Avalon. Drink plenty of alcohol at events and complain. Those are the three things every Star Wars player loves to do.
Yeah, that's accurate. Maybe lie about some dice.
That's it. That's a social deduction game.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, those things look amazing.
Well,
I cannot wait.
you
for
talked
them.
about Santa Napolitano there. Did you see that he posted I think they're gonna run the foil giveaway, the Great Santa foil giveaway that I can't find the thread for?
I can't find it either. Like I was looking for it earlier and I couldn't find it. Jared, if you could just let me know where it is, we'll get back to it. But yeah, he's doing the great foil giveaway soon.
There we go. I got it.
You got it?
I'll put it in the. There we go.
Oh yeah,
Put it in the
Bill
chat.
is on top.
Yeah.
That's under the general
November
discussion. I
25th.
never go to the general discussion. But
November
again,
25th to December 23rd.
Yep. So in 10 days, if you have 15 Jet Gold ready to spend on the 15, you can do a Jet League with foil prizes. And everybody is freaking out about it, apparently.
Yeah.
So, but details are coming soon. Everybody make sure you get onto this. It's a $15 or 15 gold league where you can get foils with
Let me tell you.
primarily foil slips. So,
After Worlds, I was pretty excited to, take a little bit of a break and not have to worry about playing
it
anything
never
high
happens.
stakes. And then,
the last 2
OCS
years have been
happened.
so busy.
It's great. I love it.
Do you though?
Yes. Every second of it.
And
That's
then,
how I answered it on my survey.
with the old and with the new. I don't even want to think about it. And then another thing is make sure, I know the forums have been going crazy today on the Secret Santa. A few people have actually chimed in saying that they're willing to run it. Let's wait for Ming. So once that is announced and everything, we'll make sure we get the details on that one. If you don't do that, that thing it's amazing. Like,
Where else can you get 34 white border C3POs?
I don't know, but I got a alternate image. We have them playing with my rats and my tortoise on it. Yeah,
People always come up with something good.
people make
Last
some
year
good
I had
cool stuff.
who's the Ohio player who plays the trumpet, whose name is escaping? Tom Pylinski. is who I had for my gift E, and I made sure to draw several things playing the trumpet. So I had to go through the collection and look for all the cards that looked like they're playing the trumpet.
Remember one year somebody gave me a 3D Flip Falcon, and if you press the button on it, it would play this one of the Star Wars tunes to it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think the battery died on it.
Oh man. Very neat things though in
Yeah,
that sequence.
definitely some neat things. Okay, let's. So I think it's that time, Bill. Let's go ahead and get into our 4 swing and a miss questions for the night. And this is all stuff that's regarding on to the Championships League. So, are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, question number 1. At least one of the Champions League play-in game winners will make the top 8.
So that's going to be Chris Kelly, the winner of Chris Werfs and Nate, and the winner of Eric and Carl.
Yeah.
We think we're going to make it to the top 8. Well, it's really going to come down to the pods. Those pods are going to be tough.
Yeah, the pods are going to be tough. Like, I'm looking at that list again myself. I mean, Chris Kelly is no
Kelly's a great
slouch. Like, if he put his mind down to it, I think he could make it.
I'm going to go with it's a hit. I think it's a hit.
Okay. Who is the player you're going to go with?
I'm thinking specifically of Chris Werfs.
You know what? I was going to say, when I came up with this question, I said the same thing. It's a hit with Werfs as well. And I definitely agree. Like next, Jared in the chat is saying that it's going to be fun to identify the pot of death. I agree. Just analyzing those pods is going to be fun next week. So I think we're both in agreement. Chris Werfs is going to make the top 8 for this question. Okay, question number 2. Only one of the OCS top 16 will make the top 8 in the Champions League. So just as a reminder, there are Eric Spixma, who's currently in the play-in game, Greg Shaw, Brad Kipple, Connor Britton, Matt Harrison Trainer, Joe Olson, and that's it.
So you're saying exactly one.
Yes.
I think that's going to be a swing and a miss. I think that group is too talented to only put one in there. Because that also covers me in case none of them make it, right? I'll take the swing and the miss.
That's true.
I think Joe is going to find a way to make it in there. I think Greg's playing at a pretty high level. Connor has some decks that he really loves and has been playing for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think the dark horse out of that list is Brad. But, I mean, Brad, if he's in the right pod, can win.
He's not a dark horse. He's like...
I'm saying of the group of the top of the OCS players.
Oh, no, I don't think he's the dark horse of that either. I think he's probably the third best player in that group. He's probably better than you give him credit for, I think.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He's a great player. Deck,
right? Like
the only knock I have on Brad is if you know how to play against Diplo.
Yeah, well.
And Rops.
I mean, Joe was playing Hunt Down V against Diplo in that Jawa game, and that's a plus matchup for Hunt Down V, and Brad won that game by like 15, right? So.
True. Brad's a pretty good player.
I think he would have been, if he came to Worlds, I think he was a lock for top 8.
I don't know. I wouldn't say Brad is a lock for the top 8.
I would.
Okay. But yeah, I'm going to say 1. I'm not going to say any who because it's either going to be... If it's anybody... Oh, God, I can't pick 1.
You think just 1?
Just 1.
Okay.
I'm not going to say who.
Okay.
Joe.
You're thinking of Joe. It's fine.
I don't know. Like I think Greg has a good chance. You know,
so
I'm going to change. I got to swing and miss.
Of them are in the same
swing and miss. Like I was talking to, I want to say it was Brad Reinhold about this. Out of the 3, there's only like the 3 people that I really don't want to run into in this event at all. Joe Olson, Greg Shaw, Matt Harrison Trainer.
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
Yeah.
Imagine running to them in the OCS top 16.
Anybody else? Just those three. Those three are just insane. But on to question number 3. The tweak set will be legal during pod play.
So I think I put this in the thread for the Champions League, but I do expect that at some point during the pod play it will become legal. And those cards, because there's erratas and stuff, I can't say like, oh, hold off on playing games or wait until the X date. So they're just going to be legal whenever they show up in GIMP.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good reminder. I forgot to talk about that, but I'm going to say that's definitely it's a hit. I think that's going to happen.
I I really I agree. I think it's going to happen. I kind of don't want it to happen just because I'm playing.
Well, then that's good incentive to get your games in the way or out of the way early.
Yeah, you're right.
Then you're not lagging behind.
You know, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think at some point during that 1 month period, we'll get the tweak set.
I don't know. Like, I'm excited to see what some of this tweak set stuff is. So,
I think if I had to guess, give me 1 second, I can pull up my schedule. So sometime between 22 November and 18 December. If I had to guess, yes, I would pick a specific day, but I'm not going to do that. I don't have any information that anybody else has. I'm no longer on proofing, so.
mm-hmm. Okay. And last question of the night before I have a surprise for everybody. Dan will go at least 4-2 in pod play during the Champions League.
I'm gonna make you answer this first.
You're the guest.
No, that's fair. Dan, I think you're playing pretty good Star Wars cards right now. You won several events, right, in the Corellia League, and that's a pretty competitive league. 4-2, lose 2 games. You think you're gonna play your games early, so it's in the meta. I think you can do 4-2.
Miss.
Take a hit. I'll do a hit.
Miss.
Okay.
I'm going to take I think somebody said it in Slack today. The mindset is I'm going to go in there with a loser's mindset and be pleasantly surprised if I win.
Yeah, I said that today.
Oh.
It's working out for me.
We'll see. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I think you can do it. Unless you get the group of death.
Yeah, if I get the group of death, don't even.
Do you think I can rig like the lottery balls so that it's you, Joe, Matt Harrison Trainer, and Greg Shaw? Like the 3 people you don't want to play against?
If you do that, I'm driving out to Maryland just to slap you.
My team lead was in the chat earlier. He'd be very excited to hear that somebody else is coming to Maryland.
I mean, I thought about yeah, I don't think anybody else is really in the chat tonight. It's just Carl and JNap. And Cave Explorer.
Yeah, I work with him.
Oh, nice.
I told him I was going to be on here. He was very upset that I didn't get on coverage he watched the world stream for like 6 hours, and he was like, I didn't see you at all. I was like, all right.
Okay,
Tell you that to be here.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Okay, your 15-second timer is up there in the corner.
Close the thing. Hold on. Okay. We're doing what? Underlying card?
Your underlying card.
Okay.
And you know what? Let's get you some help from the chat. Who do you want?
You're going to have to relay me what they say.
Okay.
Carl's going to help me.
Okay, Carl's going to help you.
Carl's got this.
Okay, your card. So I'll read the card and then I'll start the timer. Your card is K2SO.
I really thought about pulling out the no idea deck and like looking through it because you were going to pick a card from that.
Dang.
All right, so K2SO was it designed by Jeremy? I don't remember if it was that or like the helper card for K2SO. I'm pretty sure it's a droid underneath.
Well, you have some help in the chat.
What is
Deceivist?
I can look at the chat, right?
Yeah, you could look at the chat.
Oh, the ASP 707. That's got to be right. Let's go with that.
ASP
Nice.
707.
Great job.
So, Deceiverist. I don't know who you are, but you and Bill will win a prize.
Nice.
And before we go, I have a little special surprise for people.
This is neat. Even I don't know what's about to happen.
Let me enhance. So Chris Kelly during the stream actually sent me over a few of the tweak cards
Oh,
to be spoiled. So we'll go through those really quick. I'll bring
these are some tweet
down.
cards.
So, if you can see the screen right now, the first one is We Need Luke Skywalker. It is the 7 side of the Legend objective, so that will get a new one. Immediately place Luke out of play. Ignore Death Star 2 objective restrictions, if any. For remainder of battle, weapons may not be fired. While the side up, opponent's immunity to attrition is limited to less than 6.
Okay.
Once during your turn, may peek at the top card of your force pile and reserve deck. Place both cards in any order on top of one of those piles. Where you have 2 unique resistance characters, your force trains are +1, and once during battle, may cancel an opponent's just drawn destiny to cause a redraw. So the big thing there is the limit of their immunity to attrition. So they're limited now to 6.
Yeah, we up from 5 to 6. I think that's a reasonable change.
Mm-hmm.
We're going back to the 4 string +1 as opposed to the ping one, which is also
Yeah.
a reasonable change. Like, because now you can decree it or um, shoot. What else cancels 4 string bonuses? I'm sure other things do.
I mean, yeah, decree V or decree non V is probably the big one there that people run around with. Yeah, not causing that ping damage is pretty good. The other thing is like you said, like you can easily just. I mean, if they play like Image of a Dark Lord or ROPS that make all 4 strains minus,
Yeah,
then you have decree non V out. Then they're essentially doing nothing. But no, that's not a bad change.
that's
I
interesting.
like it. Up next, we have Lothal. So, Lothal 2-1, Ghost deploys -2 here. Once per game, may take This Is My Ship into hand from reserve deck and reshuffle.
Huh.
Dark side, unless the Chimera or Thrawn here,
Huh.
force rate -1, and This Is My Ship, and This Is My Ship is immune to sense.
I don't love this change. I imagine it is in conjunction with some other changes, but
Mm-hmm.
that seems like you made it better. And we were worried about it being too good, but I guess nobody played it at Worlds, so maybe we're not worried about that anymore.
Yeah.
I thought the Ghost to play -2 was like a lock to change. Like that was going to be dropped to -1. But I guess it wasn't. And now this also frees up 3 slots in your deck because I was running 4. This is my ship, right? And it's immune to sense.
I think you still want to play This Is My Ship just because it does the lost function.
Well, you go instead of playing 4, you now play 1, which goes used the first time, so you have it one more time during the game to play it lost.
True.
That seems reasonable. I'm not going to play a second one. I don't
Yeah, but
think.
I mean, then your opponent needs the Chimera or Thrawn there, and then it's immune to sense. I mean, the fact that it's immune to sense is good.
What was it before? Was it just Thrawn's there?
No, it wasn't immune to sense or anything.
Oh no, I mean the 4 string -1.
No, it was just force rating -1.
Oh, that's a wow. Huh. So only immune to sense while Chimera
I
or
don't
Thrawn.
know. Like, if am I reading that right?
Well, Chimera or Thrawn here. 4 string -1, and this is my ship is immune to sense. Yeah, so it's not always immune to sense. It's only while Thrawn or Chimera are there.
Uh huh.
And then their 4 string is -1 there. Unless
Okay.
no, unless. So all right. So if Chimera and Thrawn are there, they can drain for 2 and they can sense the thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay.
It took me a while to get there too.
Okay. Our next one is the Naboo Thief Palace Generator. So that is a new V card.
That is a newbie card.
Uh, it's going to still be a 2-2. If Qui Gon is communing, I don't like it. It says if Qui-Gon communing. I know that's how it's supposed to say, but
That'll be a while.
yeah, if Qui-Gon communing, the Reflections 2 objectives target Anakin instead of Luke and Jedi. And Jedi here are power +2. Dark Jedi are power +1 here, and Force Drain -1 here. So the big this is, like I said, this is a new V card.
So that's a straight upgrade on the normal 2-2, right? Because it's normally
Yeah.
power +2.
Well, no, they still have the power +2.
Yeah.
The big change is that as long as Qui-Gon is communing, if you're using Qui-Gon communing, you target Anakin instead of Luke.
Yeah, for Black Sun.
Yeah.
That's interesting because it's going to be like the big Anakin most of the time, right?
Yeah.
He's going to be immune to 6 and adding destinies and stuff. Interesting.
I don't hate it. Matter of fact, I like it.
It's a slight bump for a deck that only had one of them at Worlds, I think.
Yeah, not a lot of play, but I mean, Yoda communing, I think everybody said was better at Worlds. But I mean, if you remember, the previous year, Yoda communing or Qui-Gon communing was the big one.
Yeah.
So, I got no problem with it.
Yeah.
Next up, the Episode 7 Emperor Palpatine, Emperor returned. Destiny 4 leader, Dark Jedi Master, First Order character, powers 2, ability 7. Text. Here's the big one. Never deploys or moves, even if carried, except to an Episode 7 location without a light side icon. Once per turn, may draw the bottom card of your force pile. Once per game, if about to be lost, may take in hand, immune to attrition. So you can't play him and bring him before me anymore.
Oh, okay. That helps. I'm looking at that. I had no idea what changed. All right, so no more big Emperor and bring him before me. We're gonna go to the Mike French Emperor, probably, to draw some cards. But he's still pretty good in map, which again was an underplayed deck at Worlds.
Yeah.
I think there were 0 maps at Worlds, right?
I think people brought it, but I don't think anybody played it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Good.
Like the fact that you don't play him in Bring It Before Me, I like that. And then, like you were saying, if you play the Mike French, the Emperor Palpatine Foreseer, I know he was designed more for along the lines of like Bring It Before Me and everything. So maybe bringing a card back is pretty good.
Yeah, and it's a good diversity thing because you can run like that Emperor, you can run the Destiny 6 Emperor, right? And like you can have Force Lightnings, maybe you can build around Dooku.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
it opens up some different possibilities.
Didn't we just get another the Emperor V?
Oh, the Emperor? Yeah, but he's like a Black Sun helper.
Yeah, so you could theoretically run him.
Yeah, but I can also theoretically run the Reflections 2 Emperor.
And then our last card for the night is a Dark Time for the Rebellion and Tarkin's Order, Destiny 5, used interrupt. For the remainder of turn, opponent may not cancel your Battle Destiny draws or character weapon draws. Or, if you have 2 battlegrounds on table and the opponent does not, for the remainder of turn, your total power in battles is +1 for each opponent's non-battleground on table. You can cancel neighboring leads, or it could be worse, or projection of Skywalker if menace fades on table or your opponent does not occupy a battleground site.
It's a lot of
That's force. A lot of text. Does a lot.
Right. So the first part is the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, all right. They got rid of the for remainder of turn, opponent's force retrieval using resistance characters game text is canceled. They got rid of that. And they got rid of search opponent's lost pile, place one device you find they're out of play. Rid of. Gone. Now it says for remainder of turn, opponent may not cancel your best battle destiny draws, which was already on the one that came out, and added character weapon destiny draws. So what's going to cancel a character weapon destiny draw? Is that like, does Wedge cancel a character weapon destiny draw?
No, I can take care of myself.
Handle, yeah. Okay. Okay. That's the only one I can think of that straight up cancels them. And then if you have 2 battlegrounds on table and opponent does not, I wonder if so that's going to be like 2 or more, right? That's how we read that.
Mm-hmm.
For remainder of turn, your total power is +1 in battles for each opponent's non-battlegrounds on table. So that'll get you like 2 or 3 power, maybe 4 or 5 power against some things, right?
Yeah, and I think it works like if you think about it. I mean, with like the community decks, where it's optional for them to pull a battleground,
Well, I mean, a lot of them. I can't think of a light deck that is not playing multiple battlegrounds other than like the non-Camino communing decks.
Well, I was gonna say like yeah, like Yoda community. Well,
I guess
Qui-Gon
if
communing was the big one.
yeah, and I guess you force Yoda to deploy their own 2/2.
Yeah, but I mean with like the Team Five version where they played the Tatooine sites, they're playing two
Right.
of them. So I mean, it's a card that encourages interaction,
Yep.
and
And
the
then
fact that it had like another neighbor in Lee's Canceller. Hopefully, we get
yep.
a light side uh, Canceller for Alice Hellrot. But canceling stuff like it could be worse is fine. Projection, if they cancel a battleground site, that's gonna hurt like decks like Y4 Ops. That hurts a little bit.
Which is fine.
Yeah, it just hits EBO. Yep.
I wonder if they'll pull the so like they had the text on the is it on the Monarch shield where
Well,
you
we
can't
haven't
like
spoiled that yet.
no, I didn't know there was this. I don't know we're spoiling anything. There's a Monarch shield
There is a
already.
Monarch Shield.
Yeah. The it's the Hoth rare that I can't think of. Clumsy and stupid,
That's a
but
Monarch Shield.
the dark side version. Failure at the cave. So that
Okay.
says while a Jedi test on table, projection of a Skywalker is canceled. I wonder if they'll pull that off in favor of the this version of it.
Yeah,
You
that's a
gotta
good
help
point.
mind what you have learned club where you can.
Yeah, how about mind what you have learned?
How about it?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll play it Saturday. You laugh.
Hey, if you play it
You know how many stone piles I could put in mind what you have learned?
enough,
Yeah, two.
yeah, the light side version is clumsy and stupid. Opponents undercover spies are immune to never Yarnall. Field promotion if is canceled if on Ozzel or opponent's maintenance card, and then Monarch revealed your hand. You can place up to two cards from hand in your use pile.
I pulled that once.
I'll leave.
I was playing against Ed Chien's Senate deck, and he,
Oh yeah.
with a certain inflection in his voice, asked me how many cards I had in my hand, and the answer was 12. But I didn't like how he asked it, so I pulled the shield.
That's smart. Okay. Well, Bill, I think that's all the time we have for tonight. So I want to thank you for coming on. It's always a pleasure to have you on. I think this is like number 2 or 3 this year with you.
I think it's probably only two. Wednesday is my trivia night, so
Yeah,
it'll
Wednesday
make it
is
on
your trivia night. Another reason. Yeah, you were our first guest this year, and now you're our most recent one.
one. Yeah,
Yeah.
for at least a week.
But thank you for coming on. It's always a pleasure. Next week, we're going to get the Masasi Training Temple on. I know I talked about him coming on this week, but scheduling conflicts happened. And we'll talk about his all the stuff that he does, as well as all of the videos that he puts out. So until then, everybody have a safe weekend. Make sure you guys watch Bill play Bastion Winklehouse this Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern.
And let's say I'll do pod draws. Let's shoot for around 7 p.m. Eastern time on the 21st.
And you know what? We didn't do one last week, so Bill, go ahead and give us our token for the week.
Ooh, a token.
Yeah.
How about a card you didn't know existed? It's going to be Failure at the Cave Defensive Shield.
Failure at the cave. I like that one. Okay, so everybody stay tuned for and Deceiverist, please PM me either on the forums, Slack, so that way I get your information, so I can get you guys your packs of the Holotheatre Hosts and Heroes. So till Saturday, everybody have a good rest of your week, and I'll see you guys later with one of the 2 games this week. Everybody take care, and see you guys then.